Welcome to the ND Grants training video on submitting an application. In this video, you will learn the two-step process required to apply for FEMA Preparedness or Mitigation grants. The process begins at grants.gov and continues in the Non-Disaster Grants Management System, otherwise known as ND Grants. You will also learn about the communications you can expect to receive from FEMA, grants.gov, and ND Grants during the application process. It is important to note that using the Internet Explorer browser will yield the best results for working in ND Grants. As a reminder, several quick reference guides are available at FEMA.gov that provide step-by-step instructions for completing all tasks in ND Grants. We'll begin by outlining the full process for submitting your application. Then we will describe each step of the process in further detail. The Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO, posted for every funding opportunity will indicate if the grant program is managed in ND Grants. If it is, then applying for the grant will be a two-step process that begins in grants.gov and ends in ND Grants. These instructions do not apply to grant programs managed in other grant systems. Please be sure to check the NOFO for instructions for applying to your grant program. You will complete Step 1 in grants.gov by submitting the initial application for federal assistance, or SF-424. Once you have submitted the SF-424 in grants.gov, the application will migrate to ND Grants, where it will be reviewed by your FEMA program manager. Your FEMA program manager will perform an initial review of your application and determine if you are eligible to continue with the application process. If you are eligible, the application will be released to you for completion in ND Grants. You must log into ND Grants to complete and submit your application. The application is not complete until you click Submit in ND Grants, even if you uploaded all required documents in grants.gov. To ensure you have sufficient time to complete both steps of the application process, please complete Step 1, Submission of the SF-424 in grants.gov, as soon as possible. Once you have submitted your final application in ND Grants, it will undergo extensive FEMA review. If FEMA approves your application, you must log into ND Grants again to review and accept your award offer. Now, we will outline the process for completing Step 1, submitting your SF-424 in grants.gov. Once you submit your application, it must migrate to ND Grants and undergo initial review. This process may take several days, so it is important that you complete Step 1 as early as possible. The NOFO will also provide a recommended timeline for completing Step 1. To apply for a grant in grants.gov, you will need an Employer Identification Number, or EIN, DUNS number, an active SAM.gov registration, and a grants.gov account with the authorized representative role. You can find all available funding opportunities by clicking on the Search Grants tab. You can search for a grant by keyword or opportunity number. To find more information about a grant program, click on the opportunity name hyperlink. The View Opportunity Details page provides summary information about the grant program. You can find the NOFO, which provides all information about the program, including instructions for applying, in the Related Documents section. To apply for a grant, click the red Apply button. Please note, if the button is gray, you do not have the correct roles in grants.gov to apply. You will then be prompted to create a workspace. Enter your organization name and click Create Workspace. Now you can fill out all required documents and submit the application, which will complete Step 1 of the full application process. The grants.gov website provides a multitude of training videos and tutorials to assist you in submitting your application. You can find these tutorials at the How to Apply for Grants link in the Applicants tab, the Learn Grants tab, and the YouTube videos link. If you have any other questions about grants.gov and submitting your application, you can reach out to the grants.gov service desk via the Online Help and Support Center links. Once you have submitted your application, you will receive several emails. The first will verify that your application was submitted and is being validated. You will receive another email once your application has been validated. These emails will also provide you with your grants.gov tracking number. The next email you receive will state that the grantor agency has assigned a tracking number to your application. This means that your application has successfully migrated to ND Grants and is currently undergoing initial review by your FEMA program manager. It typically takes 30 to 40 minutes for your application to transfer, but it may take up to 1 business day. This email is important because it provides the agency tracking number, which is better known as your grant number. Use this number in all communications with FEMA and the ND Grant service desk about your application. You can also check the status of your application's transfer to ND Grants in grants.gov. From the grants.gov homepage, click Manage Workspaces under the Applicants tab. Search for your workspace and click Manage. When you have reopened your workspace, click on the Details tab. If your application says it is validated but the agency tracking number field is blank, then it is still in the process of transferring from grants.gov to ND Grants. When the agency tracking number field is filled in, your application has successfully transferred and is undergoing initial review. Once your SF424 has been submitted in grants.gov and transferred to ND Grants, you can begin Step 2, submitting your final application in ND Grants. Your application is not complete until you have clicked Submit in ND Grants and received a green confirmation message. To submit your final application in ND Grants, you will need an ND Grants account as well as an organization within ND Grants. During initial review, your FEMA Program Manager will need to associate your application to your organization in ND Grants. If you do not already have an organization in ND Grants, your Program Manager cannot associate your application and cannot continue with the initial review process. If the Program Manager cannot find your organization, you may receive an email asking you to create an organization in ND Grants. If your organization has never applied for a grant in ND Grants before, you will need to create a new organization and email your Program Manager when complete. If you know that your organization has applied for a grant in ND Grants before, please find the name of your organization exactly as it appears in ND Grants and send that information to your FEMA Program Manager. Include a screenshot if possible. If you do not contact your Program Manager regarding your ND Grants organization, you will experience significant delays in completing Step 2 of the application process. Please note that you do not need to wait for the email from your Program Manager to create an organization in ND Grants. You can create an ND Grants account and organization at any time, even before the application period has opened. Creating the organization before the application period will assist in preventing any delays during the initial review. If you do need to create an organization, click on the Administration tab and select Organizations. Click Create Organization. On the Create Organization page, enter your organization details. The organization name should match what appears in SAM.gov, but try to avoid slashes and apostrophes if possible. Once you have entered all organization details, make sure to click Save. After you save the organization, add any roles that your account needs in the User Role section and click Save again. If others in your organization will be working with this application, they will need to request access to the organization you just created, and you will need to approve their access. Once your organization is complete, be sure to email the exact name to your FEMA Program Manager. Once your application has been associated to an organization, your Program Manager will determine if your application is eligible. If considered eligible, you will receive an email to inform you that the application has been released to you for completion in ND Grants. When you receive this email, you must log into ND Grants to complete Step 2 of the application process. You will only be able to see your application if you have the Authorized Official, Grant Writer, or Grants Administrator role in ND Grants. You can only submit the application if you have the Authorized Official role. To find your application once it has been released to you for completion, click on the Applications tab from the ND Grants homepage and click Manage Applications. There will not be a link on the ND Grants homepage that takes you directly to the application, so you must use the Applications tab. Next, search for your application using the agency tracking number or grant number provided to you via email from grants.gov. You must include -APP- when searching for the application, or you will not be able to find it. Once you have found your application, click on the Update icon in the Action column, which looks like a pen and paper. Do not click on the Create Application button. You will not be able to complete your application using this button. Once you have clicked on the Update icon, you will see the Update Application page. You must fill out all required fields on this page and click Submit in order to complete Step 2. You can also upload any additional attachments on this page. The first time you open your application, you will only see Cancel and Save buttons. However, you must click Submit to actually submit your application. Clicking Save will only save your progress, but it will not submit your application to FEMA. You must update your application contacts for the Submit button to appear. To update your contacts, scroll to the Contacts section of the application. Click the trash can icon to remove the contact that was automatically imported from grants.gov. Open the drop-down and select a new contact for the application. When adding the Authorized Official, ensure the contact name also includes the user ID. If you would like to submit the application, you should select your username as the Authorized Official. If someone else should submit the application, you should select their username. Click the Add Contact icon next to the selected contact to add it to the list. If you see a radio button below Authorized Official, that user has the right roles and permissions to submit the application. Click the radio button under Authorized Official. If you are selecting yourself to be the Authorized Official, the Submit button will appear. If you are selecting someone else to be the Authorized Official, you will not see a Submit button, but that user will after logging into ND Grants and opening the application. Now you need to add at least one more contact, since the primary and secondary contacts cannot be the same person. Once you have added all users for this application, you can select all roles using the radio buttons and the checkboxes. Once your contact section has been updated, you can complete the rest of the ND Grants application. If you have additional questions about your application contacts, please visit FEMA.gov and review our quick reference guides for more information. To complete the full ND Grants application, scroll through the entire page and ensure that every required field has been filled out, all assurances have been signed, and all required attachments have been uploaded and given titles and descriptions. A quick reference guide is available at FEMA.gov to assist with this portion of the application as well. Once the application is filled out, the authorized official can submit the application by clicking Submit. Only the authorized official selected for this application can sign the assurances and certifications and submit the application. If the application has been submitted successfully, you will see a green bar at the top of the screen that lets you know your application was submitted. Your application is not submitted unless you see this green bar. If you click Submit and nothing seems to happen, you have left at least one required field on the page blank. Once you have received the green confirmation message, you have completed Step 2 and your ND Grants application is complete. If you need to make any updates after submitting your ND Grants application, you must contact your program manager. Additionally, your program manager may ask you to make updates to your application. This is not common, but if it happens, you will receive an email with specific instructions. You will need to log back into ND Grants and resubmit your application. When your application is submitted, it is reviewed extensively by FEMA. This review typically takes several months, during which time you may be contacted by FEMA for additional information. If you ever have questions about your application status, reach out to your program manager. If your application is approved, you will receive an email from FEMA letting you know that you have been awarded a grant. If this is the case, you must log into ND Grants to complete an award offer review. Your award will not be finalized until you complete this review, so you will not be able to draw down funds. To accept your award, log into ND Grants and click the Award Offer Review hyperlink on the home page. Please note that only the individual that was listed as the authorized official on this application will be able to perform this task. If you were not listed as the authorized official for this award, you must either request to become the authorized official or ask the authorized official to log into ND Grants to review the award offer. To review the award offer, click the wrench icon in the action column next to your award. You will be able to review your award package on this page. You can then choose to accept or decline the award by clicking the radio buttons at the bottom of the page. You will be prompted to electronically sign the award, which you can do by entering your ND Grants password and clicking the button to verify your signature. Once signed, click Submit. The decision to accept or decline the award is not finalized until you click Submit. Funds will become available in PARs 2 to 3 business days after you accept your award, as long as there are no holds. This video has described the two-step process for submitting a grant managed in ND Grants. As a reminder, applying for any grant in ND Grants is a two-step process that begins in grants.gov and ends in ND Grants. Please complete the grants.gov portion as early as possible to ensure you have enough time to complete the ND Grants portion, which is Step 2. Your application is not complete until you click Submit and see a confirmation message in ND Grants, even if you submitted all required attachments in grants.gov. Refer to the NOFO for application timelines and due dates. This concludes the video. For additional assistance using the ND Grant system, please contact the ND Grant Service Desk at 1-800-865-4076 or ndgrants@fema.dhs.gov. For programmatic or grants management questions, please contact your program manager or grant specialist.